Hello and welcome to the NSL Week 12 Royal Black Fleet versus the Vodkalition. I am Lemerck, your host. Today I'm joined by two co-hosts. I am joined by Warbleworth, our stats master and frequent host, alongside somebody that you've seen, but not quite as often, which is Chewy of Troy. Chewy, Warble, welcome very much to the stream and hosting. I hope that you guys are ready for a very good battle today. We are going to be looking at two teams who still have something to prove to the league. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts sort of about where each of them stands, starting with you, Chewy. Tell us a little bit about your impression of these teams and where you think they're going and what they need to do today.
So today, Vodkalition, they had a rough first match in that first round against the Seawolves, but they came back and I believe they faced Leviathans in their second match and showed great improvement. While the Black Fleet had their first match, was technically a win in the books, but they lost it the day of. It was only because of X firing at gunboats and all, doing damage there. So their only win on the book so far is a technicality. So both these teams have something to prove. They both have played this map. They both have fought hard on this map, and I can't wait to see these two teams fight on this map again for a second time, but also for the first time versus each other. And today we're going to have a clear victor. And I can't wait to see who it is.
I know
Who
it's
do you
gonna
think
it's
it
gonna be.
is?
To make a prediction, I'm gonna go and put my money on the Vodkalition, which I think
All right.
it might. I know that you're thinking Royal Black Fleet. You said so before we started today. That you think Royal
Yeah.
Black Fleet. I think that's probably a pretty safe choice. They are very good competitors who have been put up against some pretty tough teams. I think they've had some of the toughest opening matches that you could really get in this league.
Yes.
And
Both
that
of them, yeah.
yeah, for both of them. But I'm gonna go with the Vodkalition. I really want my heart wants the Vodkalition to win because I've seen them improve each iteration of their battling, and I just want to see that continue because I really want to see them punch their way into the upper tier of the league. But the Royal Black Fleet, I think, deserves it just as much, and I think they are a team that their record does not reflect entirely what they're capable of yet, and so they have that to prove as well. Warble, I want to ask you a little bit about what you think about our map today, which is Nalakis, which is those four big islands. Again, we've seen a lot of fights on
Yeah.
Nalakis, and the wind being northeast, which northeast, just for our audience's sake, that's going to be putting the wind diagonally towards the Vodkalition, right? So we've seen some of these battles happen before where the wind's not dead against a team, but it is diagonally towards that team, which kind of limits their opening options. Warble, how do you think that's going to make things play out today?
Well, I remember the first match that Vodkalition played against the Seawolves, right? And I think that was more or less a reverse roles, so that they had the wind, right? On the
Yes.
same map.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if straight from the back or I believe diagonally, but directly opposite,
Yes.
basically, from what it's today, right? There they used it to run ahead and get killed.
That's right.
They came out of spawn quickly in a disorderly line, and they turned away, and they turned into a kind of maneuver that got them all killed. And so I think they will be more careful on this map now, as I believe they've also shown in their maps in their match against Leviathans, and they will maybe they will probably form a pretty solid line and keep it very tight and careful, and really careful not turning part of their fleet out of rotation or putting their sterns somewhere where the enemy can fire at it. And so Royal Black Fleet, of course, they are made up of 3 regiments, which is an additional layer of communications problems potentially, or unfamiliarity with each other. Although, of course, the longer these teams are in the league, the more familiar they become with each other, and the less it matters that there are several regiments, right?
And there's another aspect that is that's going against not the Royal Black Fleet, despite those communication issues that may present themselves, but the Vodkalition has a specific kind of in the news issue. You may have heard that Russia has shut down Discord. And half of the Vodkalition's team is a Russian regiment who's been scrambling ever since Russia shut down Discord to kind of reassemble their regiment, because they had a lot of contact that was happening over Discord. So that itself has reduced some of the Russian half of the team, making it so that there could be other forms of disruption that the Vodkalition may have to deal with today. So here's hoping that both of those teams can overcome
Yeah,
any of the things
wish
that
them
are
both
usually
the
against
best,
them.
and it's all a very fun fight.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be. I mean, no matter what, somebody who has in at least in battle has lost every battle that they fought in, somebody is going to get a win today. And these are some of the battles that I love to see most, because it's just so exciting that somebody's going to break out of that losing streak. And again, I don't want to call the Royal Black Fleet has not lost every one of their battles. They have won, but this is their opportunity again, just like last time, to show that they can not only get victories from decisions that happen after the battle, but they can get it from their battle prowess in general and their fighting spirit. So I'm very looking forward to seeing that. We have plenty of correspondence here today, though you may be hearing a little bit less from the correspondence today than you usually do. We're trying a different camera style today that I hope that you guys will enjoy. It's going to give it hopefully a little bit more of a cinematic experience. Instead of having these guys embedded on ships and spawned in as a correspondent where they keep getting shot and all that other stuff, instead they're going to be doing some floating camera work. And so you're going to get varying degrees of magnification on certain parts of the fleet today, and I hope again that you enjoy that, and you let us know if you like the camera style that we're going to be doing today a little bit better. Just so you know, and so I introduced them all because they're going to be doing great work today. On our overhead camera, we have Mika, who you guys are very familiar with. Who's covering our French fleet specifically is going to be Supple. The French flagship in particular is going to be Spicy today. Warcrime is going to be viewing the entire British fleet in its totality, and Percy is going to be on the British flagship. We have Spicy, who is going to be focusing on either the gunboats when they come into play, or if we have.
Spicy already?
Did I say Spicy already? I did say Spicy twice. Who's our gunboat guy for today? Sabo. Okay, sorry, Sabo. I probably just spelled that. So Sabo is going to be on our gunboats today, and he's going to be focusing on if we have some gunboat action or if we have any kind of breakaway. So if any parts of the fleet break away from the larger fleet, we'll put him on that too, so you can get a view of that. And again, we'll be going in and out of these streams to give you the best viewing experience that we can. All right, so let's take a look at where we're at. Again, the wind direction today is going to be it's going to be favoring the Royal Black Fleet, so they're going to have the speed at the beginning. And the question, especially on this map, is what do you do with that speed? So, Chewy, if you're in this situation, do you dive in, take the center? Do you wrap around the outside edges? Like, what do you do with all that speed?
So I've done both strategies. I've been with the wind, I've been against the wind on this map.
Mm-hmm.
And I am liking to see what happens here with the Vodkalition, and I'm going to react to what they do. We saw last time I was on this map, which was against the Royal Black Fleet, yet the stream is not on, that I was able to cut across the entire map, but I can see that. So I'm going to try to slow play the center if I'm Royal Black Fleet and react to Vodkalition and cut them off, pin them in.
Yeah, I agree. I think the ability to sort of go immediately. And so let's take a look at these opening moves because we do have some. And so just to confirm for me, Warble, can you make sure that our audience knows which side is which on the overhead screen right now that we're looking?
Yeah, I first need to confirm which overhead. Okay, now I see it.
Yep.
Sorry for the downtime of the stream. We are back.
Okay.
So we are currently looking in a westerly direction here in stream. So on the right side to your north. To your north, you see the French fleet, which is Vodkalition, right?
Okay.
And to the south on your left, the yellow ships, that's the British fleet. That is the Royal Black Fleet.
Okay.
And what you can see is the Vodkalition, the French actually moved first. They set sail first. You probably missed it while stream was down. And they have taken out 2 gunboats. And they have positioned their flagship further back in their line. It looks like they have 3 8 guns, then the flagship, and then a fourth 8 gun. Their flagship, by the way, is being captained by Piet, while their Admiral Loho Master is, I don't know if he's either observer position or on one of the ships, but not captaining himself.
Yes.
The British fleet, which is the Royal Black Fleet, going with the wind, full sail set, it looks like. 2 8 guns in front, 2 behind, flagship in the middle, and also 2 gunboats. Their admiral today is Gilly, who's also captaining the 13 gun.
That's right.
And the Royal Black Fleet is so far going almost perfectly straight. So they have the wind diagonally from behind. They're just going south to north. So it doesn't look as if they are playing it quite as carefully as we had suspected, maybe.
No, and it seems like at this point the Vodkalition is turning off from that charge to the center, and they're headed, if I'm not mistaken, they're headed directly against the wind.
They are
Wind going northeast,
northeast,
should be going
so-
diagonally to the bottom right-hand corner of
Yes,
the
they
overhead
are.
screen.
Going almost directly against the wind. Yes,
They
they
are
are turning
directly-
west, basically. So
This could be what we look back
No,
on
not.
and call as a mistake. It
No.
really depends on how the Royal Black
they're
Fleet
doing, yeah.
react, and they do
Well,
seem to
they
be
are turning.
mimicking that turn.
Yeah, they are turning. The gunboats are actually going around the island of theirs, but it looks like the main ships are going basically into the middle part of the map and then around, doing basically the turn that got the Vodkalition killed against the Seawolves, but without an opposing fleet there. So
Yeah, the difference is that the Seawolves took a very circuitous route to get to this point. They went basically what in our screen here would be east. They went really far east and then they dove down the center. Whereas in this particular situation, the Royal Black Fleet is a lot closer to getting west. Like if we're looking at that overhead, if we're looking west is where this battle is going to happen. And the question is kind of who can get there first, who can set up a strong formation to the west. I mean, the Vodkalition is slowing down. Their first 3 ships are all at half mast. They're not even really going as fast as they can. They're dead against the wind. I am concerned that they may get there, but after the Royal Black Fleet, and then not know what to do and panic.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is at least the wind isn't blowing them against the wall, right? They have the option to turn away here. Right, they're not.
They could, but once they get west, Chewy, they're not gonna have any way of really maneuvering out of that. I don't see it. What do you think?
I'm thinking the Royal Black Fleets need to cut across aggressively here, dive into that gap. They'll be able to take. Vodkalition will get some early shots on Royal Black Fleet, but I think Royal Black Fleet can then cross the T, getting between the border of the map and them, but they got to keep their speed going.
I'll be honest.
We've seen importance of speed.
I'll be honest. If I was the Royal Black Fleet, I'd do a hard to starboard turn right now. I'd cut behind this fleet.
Oh,
because they're so dead against the wind. Like, what are they going to do about it? Like, it'll take them forever to react to such a move. And I think the Royal Black Fleet is just decided we're going to meet them at the west, and we're going to have a shoot them out. And what I like to see, what I'm really seeing from the Vodkalition that is a good sign, is they are not overextending themselves. They are preparing their broadsides. Their portside broadsides are getting ready to receive the Royal Black Fleet, and that's a good sign for them.
They're careful, yeah.
Yeah, they don't. But
they're turning away. They're turning out.
Oh, they're leaving. Are they really?
They can loop around. They get the wind for that. Yeah, they're leaving.
They do get the wind for that, and the Royal Black Fleet can't really pursue.
They're far enough out that they don't take damage for that.
I'm worried about this rearmost 8 gun on the Vodkalition's team. It does not look like it's following the rest. I'm a little scared of what's going to happen there.
Yeah,
you do not want your fleet getting broken up.
Into a trap. They're trying to make a crossfire on the east side of that island, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, very, very possible. And I can see. Yeah. What's the 13 gun going to do? What's the Vodkalition's 13 gun going to do? That's the major question here. I think it's got to turn starboard, catch some wind. That's a roundabout way of getting to where it wants to go. And you can see part of the Royal Black Fleet is taking the bait here. The back half of the fleet is taking the bait.
Including the flagship, they are charging. But they're still not quite in range with the carronade, although it's just a few meters out now.
Yeah.
But they're not charging. They have only 2 sails set.
Yeah, no,
they're forming line.
They're repositioning. And this is really great. You know, this is the kind of stuff that I was really hoping to see develop over time in these battles, because what is this
Yeah.
showing? This is showing such a smart cautiousness, right?
Yeah.
These guys are jockeying for position. They don't want to see to the other team the good positioning. And I love to watch that. I think that's awesome.
I mean, they both have suffered devastating defeats on this map from poor positioning in the early game. And I think they've both learned that lesson that of how important that early game phase is of positioning your fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're learning all of that from that. And I'm seeing Vodkalition, and we haven't seen combat yet this event, but I'm seeing great improvement because they're more coordinated. They're trying tactics, but they're also being cautious. They're not.
Right. Yeah.
I'm loving their evolution that I'm
Yeah.
seeing right there.
And they're not just saying like, oh, this looks like how the battle's going to go. Let's just accept it on the enemy's terms.
No.
They're saying today it's going to be on our
Renegotiating.
terms, or exactly. They're renegotiating. It's going to be on their terms, or it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
And that is great.
Yeah, but speaking of on their terms, basically the Royal Black Fleet now owns 3/4 of the map.
That's true. They have pushed them to the edge. They've pushed them to the northern edge.
So
But
now
everybody's
they just
got
have one
good
more turn
wins
in them.
now.
Yeah.
Everybody's got good win now. So the question is who forms up, and can they change this into anything except for a line battle? You know,
Yeah,
just
Royal
the
Black
two ships
Fleet-
lining up.
Royal Black Fleet has gotten the first few hits in.
Yeah,
but
they
I'm
do
not
seem to be
quite sure
tagging
yet
the back
with
of the
what.
flagship a little bit. They were at least earlier.
Yeah,
but I don't
believe
think they have
looking
the
at
range.
flagship, right?
Only the Cannon
Yeah,
8 does.
it's 8th LR Shum, who is one of their best gunners, who's on the flagship Carronade for the Royal Black Fleet and has gotten in, I would say, one hit probably.
Yeah.
Judging by the scoreboard. And that's it. That's all the hits. The gunboats have pulled back. Royal Black Fleet's gunboat were looking like they were going through the gap, but they have pulled back, and the Vodkalition gunboats are staying with the fleet as well. It's interesting, though. The Royal Black Fleet has put, as I said, a Shum of the 8th LR, one of their constituent regiments, on their carronade, while the Vodkalition, I believe, has put mercenary crew from the Leviathans on the carronade, specifically Patton.
Good choice.
And,
Good choice.
And they also have Shadow and Bob the Blue on their broadside guns on the flagship.
Oh, interesting. Well,
so they
Vodkalition sacrificing more of the map here.
They're getting pressured. They're getting pressured into the wall, no question about it. And again, we're going to see something similar happen when they get to the other side of the wall. Now, what do? Because look at these guys. I mean, you could see just a tremendous respect. Nobody here wants to lose, and they certainly don't want to lose via positioning. But because they don't want to lose via positioning, we're 10 minutes into this battle, and nothing's really happened just yet as far as damage is concerned. They are wildly throwing cannonballs in the space between them, but nobody's getting any hits.
There have been some hits by Royal Black Fleet, another mercenary, which is Leviathan's or Axis Motley Fox, who has gotten, I believe, 2 hits, it looks like, or like 1 hit on something destructible, with an 8-gunner broadside gun on someone.
I think the thing to look at here is that the Royal Black Fleet's gunboats are swinging around to get behind the Vodkalition fleet. And the question is does the Vodkalition fleet notice? And are they going to deploy their own boats? I'm just going to say gunboats.
One of their gunboats is already turning around.
Yeah, so that may be the first bit of action is the gunboats.
Yeah.
But I think once we get to the other side of this island to the east, the 2 lead ships are going to drift into range of one another. These 2 8 guns.
Gunboat crewed by Major Triangle of the 1st RM, so that's a completely mercenary boat, actually. Also, First RM Berserker on the cannon. So
those mercenary boats can be very hit or miss. They can be very hit or miss.
But I think these are good people. Also, the other boat is also completely mercenary. So the Vodkalition probably showing their short-staffedness today due to the Discord ban.
Yeah, that's right.
By putting mercenaries on
We have
an
8-gun broken off from the Vodkalition fleet. It is going for their enemy gunboats. And honestly, I'm not sure this is the worst thing in the whole world for them. It could be pretty bad, but I don't know that it will be because we're not in range right now. The Vodkalition and the Royal Black Fleet are not really in range. They're close.
Their
front ships are
max range on the front ships. Yeah.
And now there's gunboats. But
No,
yeah, that
definitely
I
bluff.
will like, and they are breaking off and doing that now. So
Yeah.
as soon as they get out of that 13 and the other 8 guns range, then I like this. We already know what they're doing with their other 3 ships versus the 2 vodka 8 guns that are holding the picket line, which just got demasted actually.
Yeah, it's almost
But-
down, the lead one.
Yeah, it just got demasted. It has like 5% health.
Royal Blackfleet
the
have
block-
lost 2 boats. Ah, there it is. That's the lead 8 gun down of the Vodkalition.
I don't
Yeah.
like that this 1 8 gun needs to slow down. He's getting himself blocked by his teammate, and all he has to do is slow down. I don't like this right now.
Oh, these two Black Fleet 8 guns that are blocking each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. That rear guy has to stop. That rear one has to stop for sure.
Well, the Royal Blackfleet have taken out 2 new boats after their 2 gunboats got sunk,
Yeah.
which is 1 gunboat and 1 rocket boat coming in. So now's the phase of the battle where they, I mean, they only have 1 more gunboat, so they're taking out a rocket boat. But it's also the usual choice to at this point.
Here comes
deploy
triangle.
rocket boat.
Yeah. Overall we have a situation here where I would say that the Vodkalition losing this 8 gun, it's not a good sign for them. I don't really believe that they've necessarily done anything to the enemy fleet to really warrant like to offset that loss. So
No.
they're just shipped down right now. I mean, they did take out the enemy's gunboats, but the gunboats
Yeah,
don't
whatever.
count for victory and defeat. They're important in many ways, but not for victory and defeat. They've really got to put some damage in on some of these ships to really start evening this
Yeah.
out for themselves.
So far, both 13 guns basically are full health, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Royal Blackfleet has lost a tiny bit. Vodkalition has lost nothing.
Yeah. The tough thing here is that the Vodkalition are primed to lose another 8 gun. They have abandoned one of the 8 guns to hold the line against the Royal Black Fleet's 2 8 guns and its flagship, and I don't see that ship trying to get out at all. So if we're looking for from the Royal Black Fleet's flagship perspective, you'll see that they're basically just gonna take this other 8 gun out. They're shooting from long range while their 8 guns are moving in.
Yeah.
And if this 8
And
gun
they
does
are
not
hitting.
leave, they're hitting. They're hitting.
With
And
13
if this
guns
other 8 gun
flying.
doesn't book it now, they're in danger. I hope it's
mean,
kind of
can't.
lore.
It's downwind against the wall.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean,
It's tough.
they have sailed against the wall with the wind. So I mean, they can go 90 degrees to the wind basically and run, but it's not looking like they are. That is one very
All they can really do
heroic but
is
very doomed do.
that picket Vodkalition 8 gun that's just holding that line against 3 ships. All it can do is try to take out the guns of the 8 guns sailing close to it because they're so point blank. You can aim for their guns. You're across T almost, but outside that,
Yeah, but
he can't run. He's going to die if he tries to run. So he's just going to try to deal as much damage, I think.
What I think he could be doing really well is, like I said, like luring these guys towards him. He's in such a weak position, but he is covered by a 13 gun and an 8 gun just behind him. So if he can lure some of those weaker ships, and then the 13 and the 2 8s can then just swing around and hit these 2 8 guns that are coming for him, then they might be able to turn this around a little bit. But I'm worried about it.
2 guns down on starboard already.
Yeah, he's honestly, if I was him, I'd
3
ram
guns
that
down,
front ship.
just-
I'd ram that
just
front ship.
1 gun left on starboard, manned by KRN Quintus. And they're running. They're turning their stern.
Yeah, they've got to.
And how many port side cannons do they have?
Give me a second. All 4. All 4.
Yeah.
Then I'm
there's-
okay with them turning and running right now because they're not taking a lot of fire.
Or they're
Yeah,
about
no,
to.
So-
they still have more than half health.
And their other 2 ships are covering their withdrawal.
Exactly. And not to mention, as these 8 guns trying to get across the T of this retreating Vodkalition 8 gun, they're going to take some serious incoming from that 13. Whereas the Royal Black Fleet's 13 is now playing catch up. It's got to get back into this battle. There's a minute or so that they're going to have free reign.
Yeah.
Not to mention this whole time, 2 of the Vodkalition ships are whittling away a Royal Black Fleet 8 gun on the other side of the map.
Other way around.
Is it? Okay.
It's 2 Royal Blackfleet ships.
Oh,
whittling
one
a
Vodkalition
vodka.
ship,
not
which
good.
still
good.
has half health though. While one of the Royal Blackfleet ships, I'm not sure which one though, is like 3/4 down. So it might be the lead ship of these two that got hit by the 13 gun. I'm not sure.
Royal
Wow.
Black Fleet's
Well,
going to
we've
try
got
to cross in here with the
gunboat
flagship.
action now if you want. They've other gunboats managed to catch up for once.
Yeah. The gun.
Yeah, the
are
gunboats do
there.
seem to be having a little bit of a drama down there by the 2v1 8 guns.
Yeah, I mean there's the rocket boat still with its 8 guns, not yet in
But what
rotation
I'm paying
currently.
attention to right now is this 3v3 that's happening on the other side, because I think
Yeah,
that's where the
that's gonna
battle's
work.
going to be
Yeah.
decided here. Um,
I think
And-
the
and-
ship
and-
running is the one that has very low health.
Oh,
yeah,
you think
probably
so?
they're probably pulling it back. Not a bad idea. And now though, the 13 gun, the Vodkalition 13 gun has the Royal Black Fleet T crossed.
Yeah.
This is a very bad position for that ship.
I don't know what it's doing.
And they're not doing
Do-
anything. They're not
do they
doing
have
anything at all.
No. They have who is it? Gilly on the helm, yeah, that checks out. That's the Admiral. But they also have Chief Jackson as a captain spot in, probably. Oh, okay, I don't know.
So whatever they're doing right now, the
Yeah,
the,
they
the
shouldn't.
Vodkalition need to keep doing it. And
Oh yeah, Royal Black Fleet. Oh,
and the Royal Black Fleet needs to get out. They're going to
Royal
take
Black
serious damage
Fleet.
very quick.
That 13's trying to reverse, and I don't like that move. I would have sails 3 through 6 up and hard starboard turn and cut across that way.
Yeah,
That
you
would
got to
be
do
my move.
something. You got to get in there somehow, because he's just taking damage and not
Yeah.
really doing anything. It seems like they're retreating. I think this is a full retreat, what we're seeing from
Yeah, they've
the
lost
Royal Black Fleet.
one cannon on each side on their flagship so far.
The damage isn't terrible. It's
no.
definitely something that they can get themselves out of and still, be okay.
Yeah.
But not good.
Vodkalition is now also down 2 gunboats. They have lost that boat Fiesta, it seems, and they also have 2 very low 8 guns.
Very low. I don't see.
One of them is probably the one that went off 1v2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other
and-
one's the lead one out of the 2 rear ones they have.
Yeah. But now the flagship of the Vodkalition actually is firing on both sides, giving support to their lone 8 gun against the rocket boat and gunboat of the Royal
Yeah,
Black
they need to take that 8 gun out. Yeah, this is looking very dire for the Vodkalition here. Just the ships that they're losing. They're just losing so much ship HP that those 2 8 guns are eventually. Yeah, all right. Now the Royal Black
Yeah.
Fleet flagship has realized it does have to go forward, but the
Yeah.
backing up has done nothing for it. It's only now it's going to have to go back into the range of the other 13 gun and take more
Yeah.
hits.
It never
Yeah.
left range, I believe.
Probably didn't. It probably didn't. It's going to take some serious damage. And the Vodkalition still have a full 13 gun.
Yeah, and it is firing on both sides, though with reduced crew. They have a total of 6 broadside gunners who are manning currently both sides to try to support their 8 gun and also fire at the 13 gun. So they are running back and forth from side to side, manning the same cannon on both sides.
Right.
Oh, I don't like that. I would have 2 people run one guy run 2 cans on the same side, have 3 on
Yeah,
each
then-
side. That's how I would do it, but
Yeah, but I
to
believe
each
it's
their own.
it's a thing of Leviathan mercenaries who are doing it while the native Vodkalition crew actually doesn't do it. They stay on 1 gun.
Oh, here goes the Royal Black Fleet. It has wind. It's going to sail around these 8 guns. Now, the 8 guns are going to be able to pivot now, but will they end up blocking each other if that Royal Black ship gets behind them?
Yeah.
So one of those Vodkalition 8 guns needs to start moving forward while the other starts reversing so they can make sure they both stay in rotation the whole time.
I mean, yeah, no, Vodkalition has lost 3 8 guns.
Yeah, they
still
have.
one 8 gun left, which
Yeah,
is
the rear one
lead
just
of,
sunk out of those two.
It's the lead of these 2, which is the only 8 gun still left, and they have their full 13 gun, while the Royal Black Fleet 13 gun is 2/3 health still. Vodkalition has now taken out one of their gunboats after having lost to one of their rocket boats, sorry, and is hitting the bow of the Royal Black Fleet.
They've got to put in some tremendous work at this point with the 2 ships and the boats that they have left. Otherwise, this is going to be a very bad defeat for them.
If I was Vodkalition with that flagship, I would just go full sails ahead and take that 8-gun straight off their nose. That's the one that has like 5% health. At least get something out of it today.
Yeah. Well, the Royal Blackfleet, the two 8-guns that were breaking off that are now taking the scenic route, it seems, have not taken that much damage, actually. They are being chased by a gunboat, sure, but they are still in pretty good condition, while the ooh. Wow, that's a
I would
nice
not want to
House
be the
down.
13 gun.
That's a nice hit by the Vodkalition. Seems.
That 13
Yeah,
gun's going down.
Royal-
I mean,
yeah,
that 13
Royal
gun is
Blackfleet-
on its way down.
Royal Blackfleet flagship is they're fighting on board. They have been boarded.
Oh, by
But-
the rowboat.
Yeah,
Couldn't
they've been
happen
boarded
at a
and they're
worse time
cutting-
for them.
Cutting their sails there.
They just
Karen Jax has cut the sails of the Royal Blackfleet.
wow.
flagship. And Shum, who was on a gunboat before, remember, for the Vodkalition, is
Look at what's about to happen with the Vodkalition flagship and this 8-gun it's passing. I mean, this is going to be a point-blank range shot here.
But they allowed the
Ooh.
one that has 5% health to slide behind them. They didn't try to put any resistance up to it.
yeah,
just let it sail
Blackfleet,
at them.
Blackfleet 13 gun is down. Blackfleet 13 gun is down.
Ooh, nice.
This is very interesting because now we're going to see what a 13 gun can really do.
Yeah.
This is going to be the ultimate proof of concept of whether these 13 guns are just the thing to destroy. Because if the Vodkalition can come back with this nearly full 13 gun against all these 8 guns that they're arrayed against, that could be what a thing. This is awesome. I can't wait to see how this
guns
plays
are
out.
not in position.
No, they're
There's
not.
currently only 2 Royal Blackfleet 8 guns. One of them is very low, although maybe Vodkalition doesn't know that.
And the other 2 are rushing
the other
in.
2 are, yeah, but they are a kilometer out at this point.
Yeah, it's gonna be 1 or 2 minutes before they are actually set up to do anything.
Yeah.
The 13 and 8 need to focus on the other 8-gun. The other 8-gun's
know.
at 5%.
They just aren't. They don't feel it. They
Yeah.
don't know it.
Wait. Someone knows it
Someone
because he
knows it,
is
yeah,
firing at
someone
it. One guy from the
in
13 is
rotation, yeah.
firing at it.
Okay, come on. All it
they
takes is one
switching.
shot.
There we go.
No, it's still not down.
It's gonna be any second. Any second, it's gonna be down.
If they hit it. If they actually hit it, oh god.
Oh my god. Oh my
Okay,
god.
but the rocket boat is in position from the.
Yeah, the rocket boat, I
the
love
rocket
its
boat is hitting.
position.
Are we sure? Are we absolutely sure that that's the low ship?
No.
Because
no.
I'm seeing other ships go down in ship HP.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know
Good.
either.
I might have got
Very good
confused
point,
then.
It could be. We could be wrong about this because it looks like the 2 healthier ships are the ones that are taking damage right now.
Yeah,
which,
so
by
then
the
one
way,
of
is
the-
fantastic for the Vodkalition.
Yeah,
Because if they can take these guys down, they can then sweep the last 2 ships. But they've got to stay together. The Vodkalition's 8-gun splitting away from its 13-gun is a bad thing because it's going to have to rotate around this rearmost ship, and then it's going to put itself right in the crosshairs of the 2 incoming Royal Blackfleet 8-guns. This could be very
Yeah.
bad. You do not want a situation where it's just the 13-gun and the 13-gun is up against the wall. Very, very bad.
Yeah, they can't turn anyway.
Right,
Although
It's
the-
not going
yeah,
to get off that wall anytime soon.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
but
were
the-
against that wall before, right? And they turned around.
Well,
Well,
they're just going to be
basically
so
the
Time
crowded.
left, though.
If all these ships get to it, if the other 2 ships get to it, it's going to be completely surrounded. But look, this 8-gun showing in its butt. It's showing the back to the 13-gun. It's running. It's crossing its own T with the 13-gun.
I don't
Unbelievable.
like that move. Is it just out of
No.
cannons on the starboard?
It may
That's,
be. It may be.
J, and they have 1 cannon on starboard and 2 cannons on.
Oh my goodness.
And
Could
yeah, I
the
don't like that move.
Vodkalition pull this out?
That's Emperor J. Right?
There's too much health between their other ones. They can pull a tie.
2
the
minutes.
It's only
tie-
2 minutes.
Oh wait, but they have the tiebreaker.
They need to sink another
Yeah.
ship. They need to sink 2 ships
Yes.
right
Yeah.
now.
They need to sink 2 ships.
And there's one that could be sunk any second. If you just get a hit on it, it could be
Yeah.
sunk. And then
they
the one that's
do have
giving
their
the
rocket
13 gun
boat.
its T, and then the Vodkalition win this thing.
The Vodkalition have a rocket boat on course for the 2 8 guns.
Oh
of
my
which one
God.
is still badly damaged, but we don't know.
This
which one.
last minute and a half.
I am loving the improvement from Vodkalition from their
Huge.
first round to round
Yeah.
2 to today.
I mean, they're keeping their
Even
wits
if
about them,
they lose
definitely.
today, all the things they had to struggle with between Discord being down in Russia and trying to reorganize that, trying to make a new naval team that they've only been around for a couple months now, and all that. I'm loving the evolution of Vodkalition.
Yes.
I did say early that I was choosing Royal Black Fleet. I never did give my point guess. I was going to guess about 7 or 8K. 8K would have been my guess if I had to lock in that. But Royal Black Fleet, they showed good improvement early on. They showed patience,
Mhm.
but I just didn't like some of their decisions. They had the wind advantage. They gave it away. I like some of their moves. Some of their moves though I didn't, and they split their fleet up for way too long. And that's bringing
Yeah,
Vodka
but
back in.
they're really
The-
not getting any more hits in on anything.
No,
Just like,
I think it's going to be so close, but I think the Royal
Yeah.
Black Fleet is going to
I
take
mean,
this
yeah,
just because nobody's shooting at that 8 gun that's just dead.
yeah.
I think the 13 gun is going to finish off its
Yeah.
target. I think
But
in these
Collision
last
only has-
17 seconds, it's
yeah.
going to be pretty close.
Well,
But-
14 seconds. They need to if they kill the 2 ships that have 5%.
I know.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
If it was
Can you
one
even
more
imagine?
minute, if it was one more minute,
It could
we would
happen.
be talking a tie.
But
Oh my
Collision
God.
only has
Right down to the
3
last
guns.
second.
Oh, no.
Right down to the last second.
Shit. No,
Oh,
nothing.
No, it's the
Royal
Royal
Black
Black
Fleet
Fleet.
Yeah.
It's the Royal Black Fleet.
Fleet.
What
Win with
a
still all
nail
8 guns
biter.
up. All 8 guns still up.
I have to
by
say,
2,000, less than 2,000.
what a great battle. Honestly, you give that battle another 5 minutes, totally different result.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh
right?
yes, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. The tiebreaker would have been Vodkalition.
What a battle. What a battle. So many great ideas, so many interesting deployments of rear 8 guns, cutting off, splitting up the forces. This was just a really good battle, and I think it shows the evolution of both of these teams strategically. Or let's be accurate, tactically. Their tactics in battle were really, really, really good, really conservative, but then they would just strike out from the rears of their fleets, and wow, what a battle! What a battle!
Yeah, I am loving the Vodkalition's evolution here. I know that's a tough loss for them today, but I'm just still impressed by their evolution. They're going so far in the right direction. Their point
Yes.
differentials have been from 20K to 11K to now less than 2K.
Mhm.
Their next round, I don't know who they're facing next, but I'm excited to see the Vodkalition next round.
I can
But
tell
Royal
you
Black
that.
Fleet, now they have one of their own
Yes, they
victories today that isn't by a technicality. Good for them. They showed great early and mid game positioning advantages and all that. They fell apart in the late game and nearly gave the match away, but their early and mid game by the Royal Black Fleet was
Yeah.
good to strong. And I like
Yeah.
that. I like seeing their evolution there as well.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, Vodkalition will face the Burner Partnership next.
Oh, that'll be a good
Ooh,
battle.
ooh,
That'll be a
that's-
good battle. But they're going to have to keep getting better. They're going to have to keep getting significantly better to win that battle because that's a tough team.
I faced Vodkalition before in a previous Naval League earlier this year. I know they're strong. They're really, really good
Yeah.
You
cannoneers.
mean Bona Partnership, right?
So Bona Partnership. That's what I meant to say.
Mhm.
Yes, sorry.
Mhm.
And oh god, that's going to be a good match when that comes. But I can't wait to hear the decisions of today's match.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about. I think of all the decision points I can think of off the top of my head, we've got the Royal Black Fleet disentangling. Well, first of all, we have the opening moves and how both teams decided. Right? They both decided we're not doing it here. This is not where we want to do our fight. They both turned out, prompted mostly by the Vodkalition's turnout. So the Vodkalition decided we're not having this battle here. It's not to our favor. They turn out. Royal Black turns out. They then zip over to the other side of the map with really nothing happening between the two fleets. And then when they get there, the Royal Black Fleet breaks off 2 of its ships to go circle around the back of the fleet. Interestingly enough, the Vodkalition by that time had broken off one of their 8 guns to go chase 8 gunboats for some reason. That is not my favorite move, I have to admit. And then after that, the Royal Black Fleet found that their 2 breakaways they flirted with the main body of the Vodkalition fleet, but then they peeled off and then went straight for that isolated 8 gun, took it out.
Yeah,
But
but took
then
some
that left them far away when the Royal Black Fleet's position crumbled as they
Yeah.
tried to chase that lone 8 gun that was still there and
and got hit by
pursue.
the 13 gun in
That's
the
right.
nose, basically. Yeah.
Right, and then the Black Fleet's 13 gun is just getting tagged. It gets sunk. The Vodkalition's 13 gun is perfectly fine, and I honestly think the Vodkalition were on track to win that at the end.
Oh,
They had,
100%.
Yeah.
I think with that
100%.
huge HP 13 gun, we give them, like you said, 2 more minutes, 5 more minutes, just a few more minutes. That's a different battle, and that is all because of the distraction, whatever happened to the main body of the Royal Black Fleet at the center of it, like the 2/3 of the way through the battle, that just changed everything. It really put them in a weak position, and so they won. It was saved by the bell for them, I'd say.
Yeah. And I think, though, that the point where they got the 2 8 guns to go behind the Vodkalition's main fleet,
Yeah.
that put some like panic into the Vodkalition, I think, because they started to, like, some of them turned away while that one lone 8
Yes.
gun held out, and that may have, that definitely took a lot of damage for holding out there, and they went down in the end. But they lured, as you said, the whole Royal Black Fleet main body basically into their
Yes.
13 guns broadside without being able to retaliate. So,
Yeah, I think there were so many those isolated 8 guns, those 8 guns that broke away from the main fleets, really were so important to how this battle played out. I think
yeah, without
I was
actually doing too much to each other for a long time.
no,
They
not
were just
really.
sitting around fighting boats or whatever, but it's basically their absence was important for the main battle.
Yeah, what I would have loved to see is a little bit more coordination between those groups that are separating and the main bodies of the fleet. When you do those kind of maneuvers, you really want to see a flanking maneuver accompanied by a strong push from the front. Like when the Royal Black Fleet broke off those 2 ships from the back, they remember how they were originally were toying around with the idea of firing at the Vodkalition flagship, but then they decided against it and went for the isolated ship. And I do understand that move because, you always want to be 2. Anytime you can get a 2-on-1 battle, that's great. But if the Royal Black Fleet had sent those 8 guns towards the enemy flagship, towards the Vodkalition flagship, and then sent the other part of the body of their fleet up that channel to pressure them from 2 sides, while the Vodkalition was basically pressed against the shoreline at the edge of the map, can you imagine the crossfire they could have gotten from that moment?
Yeah.
So I think some of those flanking maneuvers were really well inspired. They just didn't have the follow through to go with them to really land, critical positioning maneuvers that could have really changed the course of the battle. And instead, I think the Black Fleet vacillated there. But at the same time, the Vodkalition's throwing 1 8 gun at gunboats, and most of their reactions seemed to be very reactionary. It seemed to be like, oh my God, these guys are pressuring us. We need to get out of here. And so what we saw at the beginning of the battle, where the Vodkalition was being very cautious in a really smart way and saying, no, we're going to have the battle on our terms, they never really did get the battle on their terms, did they? I didn't see it happen close for them.
I mean, the 13v13.
The 13v13, yes,
pretty
but
much on that term, right?
Can you say that they really got that, or were they given that by the Royal Black Fleet? I think the Royal Black Fleet gave them the front of that 13 gun for an extended period of time. I don't know that anything that Vodkalition did made that happen. It didn't seem too intentional.
I think they tried to cross it because I think the Royal Black Fleet was going to come out. That was because who would have guessed Royal Black Fleet would have just stopped there? So they were crossing to start getting early shots, but ultimately it was just given to them for free by the Royal Black Fleet there.
Yeah. All right.
But again, I think this shows the importance of 13 gunners today, because if it was another minute or 2, that would have turned the match around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 13 gun, to get damage on the opponent's 13 gun without getting damage onto yours at the end of that battle puts you in such a favorable position. And so, just unbelievable. It's something we've been talking about in behind the scenes about whether these 13 guns represent maybe a little bit too overwhelming of a force on some of these teams, and maybe something we address between seasons. But for now, that's the meta that we're dealing with, and it is on full display here today. Now we have the Admirals with us. I thought I saw multiple people come in here. So we have Piet from the 15 PP. I think we have Frankie from the 26. I see we have Splunker from the FRL. I don't know if we have anybody else from any of the
Loho
teams here.
Master.
Loho,
ESC.
yeah, we have ESC Loho Master, so we've got a bunch of people. So we'll talk to one admiral from each team to get started with. So let's start with the defeated team. I would like to say hi to Loho. How are you, Loho? And we loved that battle. For whatever you may have heard when you've been in here, any criticism you may have heard, we were deeply, deeply impressed with your team's judiciousness on how it chooses its own battle. You know, not falling into the trap at the beginning of the battle, and pulling out to create a better circumstance for yourself. So tell us a little bit about what you thought as you were going into the battle, and how it went and how you felt about it.
Well, okay. So, do you ask me, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know what to say basically, because it was the whole thing. It was just my mistake. Like, we shot the wrong ship. This is the whole thing.
Oh, in the end, you mean?
You mean at
in
the end?
end, there were two ships with the least HP, and basically the like the ship which gunboats and 8 gun were battling with. One of them had so so small HP left that
Yeah.
maybe one or two shots would take it down. But as they were really far enough, I told the 13 gun to shoot the 8 gun, which was going near, so with least HP. But well, basically, 10 seconds decided the match. That's the whole thing.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
because
we
one
were
round shot
commenting
would
on it.
turn it over completely, since the 13 gunner of the enemy side was sunk.
Yep.
So it would be like the equal thing, but we have a 13 gunner.
Right.
Like,
You could have won if you had the same amount of ships as the opponents because you had the
yeah.
13 gun. So yeah, no, we were commenting. Seriously, another few minutes and it could have been yours. But that is really to your credit that you guys have again, we were talking about from your first match to your second match, you've been reducing how much you guys are defeated by every time, astronomically reducing those points. So today, this is hopefully for you guys. This is the tipping point. This is the day where the difference between your two teams were like under 2,000 points. So this was brutally close. And so we're hoping for you guys, it's your next battle, you go from having negative points to positive points and winning your next battle, because I think you're a team that has gotten better and better consistently over its time.
Yes.
What were you thinking at the beginning? I think we were all really impressed with your opening and how you chose not to engage in a situation that didn't look good for you. So tell me a little bit about that thought process.
So basically, well, we were quite discussing with our, let's say, higher ranking officials of Vodkalition what to do, because we were given quite a counterwind. So the first tactic was basically to move to one of the islands and then fall in one of the middle of the other islands, making some kind of a what's the name, a hook.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
in the last seconds, we decided that it's a bad idea, and we got to something better. We decided to move first upwind, and then turn 180 degrees to make the enemy kind of think, what are we doing, or something. And it actually worked out really
It did.
nice. And well, yeah, as I said, the mistake was already announced, kinda. So the only thing which I was quite nervous about is that 2 8 guns were splitted to our 1 8 gun with gunboats.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, we almost sunk like one of these 8 guns. I was like, what? How it's possible? I mean, just one or two shots, and maybe they would have sunk it like just gunboats and 8 gun. But
Yeah.
well, it didn't happen. So the other thing I would really point out about is the rocket boat. It worked really nice today.
Yes.
I mean, it sunk the 13 gunner, it sunk the 8 gunner. Oh my god, it was a really nice job from the rocket boat. Yeah, and well, yeah, basically the tactic was just making a infinity churning inside our side, because all the other maneuvers without wind were kind of just a dead shot, I would
Right.
say.
Okay. Any questions from my other co-hosts for Loho?
I'm just impressed on how that 1 8-gun did cover those 2 8-guns for so long and nearly kill them. That shows great gunnery improvement, and I'm liking that. So
Yeah.
and all in your decisions today, just keep that improvement, keep that practice up. I can't wait to see you next season.
Yeah, you guys are going to be a monster next season. I can feel it.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I really like how focused you were, like how you kept your head, how you didn't run or panic when these 2 8-guns showed up behind your main fleet. I mean, I saw that you were, you turned a bit, but then you got your 13-gun turned around against them, and they just ran, right? They
Yeah.
ran after that 1 8-gun. Maybe it was their target all along. I guess we'll find out soon enough. But yeah, I really like that, and I think in the basically shootout at the wall there, where your 2 main fleet bodies fought against each other, you kept your nerves better, I would say. Yeah, that and not another thing, but I've just now.
Yeah,
Oh,
can I
I
just
wanted to, yeah,
can I
go ahead.
just ask for one thing? Like,
Mhm.
there is a sailor in Muster Hall right now, sitting, can't wait to tell about what's happened on the 8 gun which battled the other 2 8 guns. Like, what do you think? Can we allow him here or not?
We probably want to move on to the other admirals. This is usually a situation for the admirals to talk about their experiences, though we may invite people like that onto some of our other shows throughout the week. So we're going to move on at this point
Okay.
over to the victorious fleet, the Royal Black Fleet. And Frankie, we don't have Gilly with us right now. Did he have to run?
His headset died, so he was like
Oh.
dying more towards
Oh.
like the end of the match.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
Did that
then
become an issue at the end of the match?
uh, not too bad. I mean, it cut out maybe once or twice, but it
Okay.
didn't really affect anything too deeply.
Okay.
All right, so Frankie, tell us a little bit about what your guys' plans were coming into this battle. Did you have a strategy in the beginning, and how did it play out? And just take us through.
Well, we really wanted to see how they would play at first, so we kind of waited in our spawn. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You were slow out of spawn for having the wind, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we kind of split up into something we've kind of been practicing in our own server, our own
Mhm.
practice server that we've been doing.
Yeah.
Where we have 2 8 gunners in the front, 2 8 gunners in the back, and our 13 in the middle, so
Mhm.
we can kind of pivot. And we were trying to basically use that maneuverability that you get from just being able to pivot and have those 8 gunners act independently, to try and force them into unfavorable positions.
Mhm.
And it kind of worked out in our favor. We did get a little split up at one point, and I do want to commend their 8 gunner for doing a hell of a job. We were very
Yeah.
low on 2 of those 8 gunners, so
Yeah, and it seems like he kept your 8 gunners away from the main battle longer than you probably wanted. Um, so when you split off those 2 8 guns from the back of your fleet, right? What was your intention for them? Was it always to go for that lone 8 gun, or were you considering going for the main body of the fleet?
we were considering trying to get the crossfire that could potentially happen from the choke point where we
Mhm.
had um, basically 2 tiny points where they would be concentrated and wouldn't
Right.
be able to move. But I guess he just broke out, and I wasn't a part of that side, so I don't know the full
I
story. I
can,
think Splunker would be able to elaborate a little bit more on what happened there.
yeah. So I was actually, you were talking earlier, Loho, about the ship that was the lowest. That was me. We were the ship that was on the lower end of the 8 gunner battle, and the reason that we decided to split off was 2 reasons. One, the main target all along was indeed the lone 8 gunner. When we saw the lone 8 gunner sitting behind with the rest of the gunboats, we decided that was going to be our main target. We did, however, as we were moving through the strait between me and the doctor on the other 8 gunner, opportunistically see if it was possible to move behind the main fleet, like you mentioned earlier, to get some crossfire going on two sides. The reason why we pulled off ultimately was a couple. One was it was no longer opportunistic enough and valuable enough to assume that we were going to be able to sit there for very long. When we noticed that the 13 and other 8 gunners were coming to bear, we realized that we were going to be in a position where we couldn't maintain fire superiority so that we could actually do some real damage. And the other reason is that on my ship in particular, a lot of our guys are very green. They're very new. They weren't as skilled as some of the other members of our team. In fact, honestly, they're probably the greenest. And the reason why I pulled off was because if I couldn't match an accuracy of fire, I could possibly match through volume of fire. That
Against the
8
one
gunner
lone
battle,
8 gun, yeah.
exactly. That volume of fire versus an 8 gunner will make up the skill difference, and it did. And while
the
it did take
and-
us away,
Yeah, no, just and you got really close. You guys got incredibly close range with that too, which really helped.
yeah. So the reasoning on paper may seem from above to be kind of a weird decision, but when you consider the people that we're sailing with, we're on a limited crew. We got only maybe one person per cannon, very little support. We lost most of our guns very early in the fight. We only had 2 cannons on each side, and we suffered the most amount of damage. Once we sunk that 8 gun, our immediate reaction was, of course, to rejoin the main fleet. And then from that point, with our ship in particular, it was just a big game of keep away. And I'll say this: when we saw that 8 gunner coming to bear, Loho, we were considering pulling away behind the island for cover, but we actually thought it might be better to act as a kind of confuse which of the two to target, because we were getting chased by the gunboat. But all in all, it was definitely a kind of in the moment decision that any other move we could have made would have changed the outcome drastically. Everyone participating in this, it was a very, very close match.
Yeah, I think it was the right move in every way. I just don't see how your main body of your fleet, because to make it worth going to the body of the Vodkalition fleet and really laying the fire down in their 13 gun or the 8 guns, the rest of your fleet would have had to come and support, and they just didn't have the maneuverability and the speed to just jump in and do that. And so I could definitely see why you guys went for that one ship. But so, and again, I think probably one of the best things, if you were that ship Splunker, I think one of the best things that you did for your team today was just not sink. I think that not sinking, because seconds could have, even if there were 5 more seconds and you had previously sunk, it would have been the tie that favored the Vodkalition because of their 13 gun up. And so it's just such a huge, huge thing that you never went down, despite how close you guys got. So let's talk a little bit about the 13 guns. We got to see today what a 13 gun can do, even if it's got one other ship supporting it and basically nothing else. How much pressure a 13 gun could bring down on the fleet. Once the Black Sea Fleet guys, once your 13 gun, Royal Black Fleet guys, once your 13 gun went down, was there panic? Was that a moment where you guys really thought, holy crap, like we might lose this thing? Or were you still feeling confident that you're going to be able to pull through?
I think we were still confident that we were able to pull through. We had 4, I believe, of our 8 guns up at the moment.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did have a crash at that moment, so it caused a tiny bit of a panic.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got in though. We got back and we handled the situation in a way that it put us in a spot uh, where we wouldn't be completely annihilated,
Mhm.
even though I had to rely on whoever was on my ship to just take over.
Yeah. What are you taking out of this battle? What's the teachable moment? What's the learning experience here from all this for you guys?
Who you want to answer first?
Well, we'll have you guys answer first, then I'll go back to Loho.
Okay. I think for us in particular, the biggest takeaway from this is communication was a lot stronger in this one. We've been improving that over the course of each event that we're participating in,
Yeah.
and we were a lot more strict when it came to directions and commands and who was talking.
Right.
But we also were feeling a little more comfortable. We've always been more focused on maintaining strict formation so that we can all stay together, but we found that that doesn't always work, and having this opportunistic side of ourselves where we can kind of exploit any opportunity that we may see and feeling free to do so definitely helped us. And I think we just generally need to improve on maybe a couple things related to gunnery, but I think all in all, command structure wise, the biggest take was that in the future when we compete, we need to keep control of comms. We need to make sure that we give everyone leave on how to maneuver and make sure we always take advantage of any opportunity that we see.
All right. So the takeaway for you guys is maybe we're going to see some more of these splitting up the fleets, seeing a little bit more of you jumping on these opportune moments in the future, huh?
I hope so.
Good. Great. And let's go over to Loho. Loho, what do you feel is the takeaway from your team from this battle? What are you going to be working on? What do you think you did really good? Like what's improving and what needs to be improved still?
Well, that's a good question. I mean,
It's not one that you can always answer right after a battle. Sometimes you got to think about it. But if you have anything at the top of your mind that's sticking out to you about things that you can,
at the
or
top
did
of
like
my
again, what
mind,
did you think that you guys did really well today? Because I mean, from our perspective, we thought that you again improvement from your team.
well, as I see, well, from recent, for example, from recent blockage of Discord for Russian side, it also was
Yeah.
quite a problem because we lost several people. Like last time, we got 12 people coming just from ESC participating. Right now, we have barely 6, and so I also asked for my friendly Russian regiments to help if they can.
Yeah, I
So
saw there were some RAN people on your team.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. There were some UNF guys.
Oh, UNF.
So
Right, it's UNF. Sorry,
yeah,
I might
so
have just entered them wrong into the stats. Stephen
okay,
Williams
yeah.
and James Duncan, right?
Yeah. There was UNF James Duncan and also Stephen Williams and
Okay,
Finn
got it.
Olver also. Yeah, so they helped us, and well, we got around 9 numbers maybe. So it was quite. It's really hard to recover people because well, this is what all we could get right now, and the contact is lost. So well, hopefully the people we get the contact with are experienced sailors since. And well, another thing which I don't know actually what to point out because the eight gun acted today against the 2 8 guns. Like I don't know what was it. I thought that I already lost an 8 gun in this battle like immediately. However, it was a really long battle there, so
Very long.
I mean I don't know what they can improve better. I mean,
Okay.
what they
No,
could
they
go
did
over
really
more,
well.
like move the guns from one side to another to achieve better firepower.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
All right.
Yeah, I mean, if that was possible, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Imagine
So
that.
Imagine if you could
Well,
roll cannons
imagine that.
around the
Imagine
decks.
that.
Jesus.
yeah. If you could put them in
And
chase positions.
yeah, and what about the other things? Well, we don't have people for gunboats or rocket boats, so I
Mhm.
usually put mercs on that.
Yep.
And well,
Mm.
again, it's because of blockage also because we don't have enough people for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we were worried that that the blockage of Discord would really like hamper you, and yeah,
it's
it
actually
seems that it did, but not as much as we feared.
yeah, but it's still a danger because right now we have issues still,
Yeah.
and it's not everything solved out. So we
Right.
will try alternatives, but they are very not convenient, I would say,
Yeah.
almost at all. So it really depends what we can do or not, but we will try to
Well,
do our best to stick to NSL.
good.
Okay,
Well,
so well, the last thing which I wanted to say is maybe we need. I mean, it's just improvement of the tactics, I suppose. Because what to say about the gunnery and what to say about like I didn't see the boardings. I was very busy with controlling
Yeah,
the fleet,
there
so
was a
maybe the
boarding, right?
boardings should be improved, but I'm not sure.
It
there was a
looked
really
pretty
good
good.
boarding on the 13 gun.
It looked pretty good. Like your crew boarded the enemy flagship right shortly before it sank.
Yep.
Yeah,
And it worked out great. Like they went to the helm, they put up the sails, they held control for like I don't know, almost a minute. It looked like
Very key and a key moment in the battle, definitely. So yeah, that was great. All right. Well, with that, I will say thank you to our admirals. Thank you so much for a really, really great battle and a really, really close battle. And I hope the audience at home really enjoyed getting to see it from this different perspective that we were providing today. We do know that the stream crashed a few times, and we're looking into why that happened. But we're going to piece together footage that we record alongside the stream as well. And so our directorial team is going to try and put together a composite of the entire battle and put that up on YouTube so that you guys can watch it there in its fullness and its glory, because this is a great battle and definitely not one that you want to you want to be able to see it all the way through. So hopefully you got to see lots of it.
Yeah.
And then all I can say is next week we're back up. Leviathans are back up again. So if you liked watching us battle last week, you're gonna love the battle next week. We are fighting another absolute gargantuan, powerful team, the Krakens. So the Leviathans versus the Krakens, the battle of the sea monsters.
I
next
can't wait
week.
to host that one.
That's going to be a truly spectacular battle. I cannot wait. So make sure you're back here next week. I want to thank everybody who participated, all of our correspondence cameramen, all my co-hosts, Warble and Chewy. Guys, thank you so much for your excellent observation and commentary. And to you at home, I hope that you enjoyed this battle. Come back next week to see me fight as the Leviathans versus the Krakens, and I'll try to put on a nice show for you. Otherwise, thanks so much. Have a great evening, everybody.